Hello YouTube, and today we're going to be learning how to change a set of bath taps. So we're changing these taps for a set of Wicks bath shower mixer. So first of all, what you want to do is you want to get a nice bit of light on the situation and isolate the hot and cold pipes to the bath taps. Lucky on this one, we've got two isolation valves, but you can just turn the mains off outside and drain all the water out of your system. Make sure you do that before starting. You're going to also need a towel or some blue roll. Let's start undoing these taps. So we're undoing the 3/4 nuts connecting to the bath taps. So that's the cold done. As you can see, there is a bit of water in there, so do be prepared. If it is squirting out quite fierce, you do know that there is water coming into the taps, so you haven't turned the water off correctly. So with that loosened off, you can then loosen these 3/4 back nuts of the old taps, lefty loosey, righty tighty. With them undone all the way, make sure they're all the way off, you can then remove the old tap from the bath. So with that removed, then you need to clean the surface underneath where the old tap was sitting. So for this, I've got a good bit of customer soap from the basin, and today's soap watch is Imperial Leather moisturising hand wash. Good few squirts of that. And I put this on not to use as a cleaner, more to use as a lubricant, because I'll be using my knife on the surface and it just helps it glide along instead of digging into the surface. So let's get cleaning. Let's clean this surface all up. Make sure you're not scratching, make sure you're cleaning. So with that all nice and clean and cleaned up so you're happy, you don't have to clean it, it's just something I do with my taps when I change them. So make sure this is nice and clean all this off. And a bit of satisfying wipe at the end. Look how satisfying this is. Oh yeah, nice and clean, like brand new again. Gonna get a light on the situation just to show you how clean this really is. And make sure that's nice and tidy. I do this because this is what I do in my own house. So why doesn't the customer get any different treatment? So I'm just going to use my phone torch here just to show you how clean that is. You can see a few swirls and whatnot, but you can't see that when the light's off. So now we're going to get the new tap. We're going to make up these. So you're going to get everything out of the box, and then as you can see, I'll unwrap it all and chuck the instructions over there. You don't need them. And underneath here you've got your shower hose and headset. Make sure you keep all washers with the parts you need. They are normally just loosely laying around in the box. You have got to be careful for any washers because you do need them all. They don't give you any spare. So unwrap this, and then all you've got to do, as you'll see, is me making the legs onto the bath taps. There is some 3/4 washers that come in a separate pack. You'll need them to go inside the body of the tap and then onto the legs. You'll see that now. So when making these legs on, they do have to face in towards each other, not outwards. So with them made on quite loosely, not too tight, you've got to then slide these into the holes. As you can see, this is a very common problem, is when you push these in, the washer does like to slip inside the hole. You want to make sure that washer is pushed up against the butt of the leg before sliding in to make sure that that washer doesn't slip through and not seal between the bath and the leg. So with that then in place, line it up. You've got to get these spot on in the holes. Make sure they are covering 100% of the hole. Then you want to grab your 3/4 back nuts, and with that all lined up, you want to get them on to the back of the tap to hold it in place. So then both finger tight, you can now grab your tightening tool. I've got a narrow tap set that I find very good, and you're just going to tighten them on as tight as you can. Make sure you feel the pressure on the tap to give it maximum torque on that nut. Just go one then the other, one nut then the other. Just work it until they're as tight as you think it's need, and then just give the tap a good old wobble to make sure that you're happy with how tight the tap is. You can't really go too mad. This is only a acrylic bath, so I know I can go quite tight on these and not have a problem. As you can see, it's nice and tight. Now that is done, I can now tighten these nuts onto the legs fully, as I didn't do it earlier. So these, you just want to make them tight. If you turn the water on, the water comes out there, you can just give them a nip up and that should be fine. Don't know why I fingered the spout, obviously got a bit excited. So with that done, you can then put your shower hose and head on. Don't forget your little 1/2-inch washers that are attached to the hose. Make sure you put one in each end, screw it on hand tight, no tools needed on this part. With one side on, you can then put the handset on, and because this is quite a long hose, I'm just going to wrap it around the tap a few times and place it on top of the cradle on top. So with the tap nice and tight and everything on top finished, next it's onto underneath. So I'm going to remove these 3/4 washers, 5 washers, because I don't trust the same washer twice, and I'm going to put some nice rubber ones on from Hep2O. Just put some 3/4 Hep2O tap connectors, took the washers off and put them straight on here. So with these, you want to go backwards with your turning onto the nut till it allocates, then you can screw it on the thread. Make sure you do not push thread this, because you will get water absolutely everywhere. So with that one tight, I can then open the water and wipe off any excess water on the pipe, make sure that's not leaking, and do the same with this hot pipe. I'm tightening my tool because it's rubber, I don't need to go too mad. Turn it on, as you can see, it starts to squirt, but it does seal itself when it gets to the upright position. Now that's all tight, you can then test your tap, make sure all your fittings are dry it all off, make sure there is no water coming out of that, and there you go, we have a tap working. And that is how you fit a tap like this, a nice little bath tap. Just remember to measure your centre of your holes before buying any tap, to make sure they line up with your bath tap you have there already. So I hope that helps someone. If it has, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you do anything different, or if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Hope everyone has a good day. That's a job done.